their frustration with corruption, crime, unemployment and rising inflation. So how does Cosatu feel about its National Day of Action and how it went? Let's find out from the Federation's President, Zingiswa Losi, who joins us live and virtually from Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape. Zingiswa, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure you must be exhausted because these big days of action take everything out of you. I read comments from your colleague Matthew Parks, who said you were all heartened by the turnout of this national protest today, especially because it wasn't just in the main urban centres, Durban, Joburg and Cape Town, that even smaller towns like Kuruman and Kimberley, your members came out in the streets to voice their concerns with the raft of issues facing our society and especially the workers at the moment. Your thoughts on today's day of action?
Good evening, Marcelle, and good evening to the eNCA viewers and listeners. Indeed, it was a successful day. We are exhausted, but we are happy with the turnout. We must say, as you say, that it was not just on major cities. We went through all, including small cities, and where workers could not gather in numbers, there were protest actions that were taking place in terms of pickets. We must say that it has been a successful National Day of Action, and we can measure that not just by the numbers of turnout, because that is a quantity, but also about the issues that Cosatu is bringing to the attention of government and the private sector. You would know that you were raising the issues of the high cost of living, we're raising the issues of unemployment, we're also raising the issues of inadequate energy in our country, we're also raising the issues of crime and corruption. We are also saying that we cannot continue to have also in the private sector, workers continue to work and they remain poor, because you would know that there are workers when they earn at the end of the month who cannot still go to work. So we have made a call for also the private sector to also play their part in paying workers a living wage, but also protect collective bargaining, both in the private and in the public sector.
I was just saying to a colleague earlier that it really feels like a day in South Africa is quite traumatic, especially depending on where you find yourself in society. You've got a very long list of issues that you wanted to bring to the attention of those in power, even though they are part of the tripartite alliance with you. Does it make it difficult to bring the messaging across on a day like today? Because there's just so many things that our people and indeed our workers have to deal with on a daily basis. And it wasn't just we're marching for higher wages, which is a quite simple message to run home. How difficult is it, firstly, to get that messaging across, and secondly, to fire up the flame amongst your members that these are the reasons that we have to go out there, that you have to sacrifice a day's wages, that perhaps it needs to cost you more to get to the place to march? How difficult is it to get that messaging across, both to your workers and then indeed to broader society?
Look, to the workers, it is not that difficult because workers are firstly members of communities. They are coming from these communities. So when you talk about crime, they understand what you're talking about, because before they can go to a workplace and sell their labor, they are members of the community where they are residing. So all of these issues are societal issues that Cosatu is raising. So it was not so difficult because they can relate to each and every item that we are raising. Actually, it is them who are saying to us, these are the issues that we need to ensure that government and the private sector are tackling in South Africa if we want to be where we should be as a country and as a nation. So it is not so difficult. The issue, Marcelle, is those that we have gone to deliver the memorandum, the private sector, employers, government, also the commissioners of police, are they hearing us? That is the issue. Because we're not talking to ourselves. And Cosatu is not a federation that only marches, that only criticizes. We are a federation that brings alternative to the challenges that the country is faced with. So the question is, are they hearing us? Are they understanding the importance of all of us, and we're including ourselves, sitting down and finding lasting solutions to these challenges?
I heard a soundbite from somebody who would be one of your colleagues on radio, and it is a member of the Cosatu leadership. I unfortunately didn't catch the name, but he, in addressing one of these, I think it would have been one of the marches here in Gauteng, and it was a soundbite played on Radio 702. And this person was saying to the crowd of gathered Cosatu members who were protesting a message to the president, saying, if you're not servicing the needs of the labor force, of the workers of this country, you need to take us into your confidence and tell us who you are servicing. Are you hoping that this kind of message is getting to the president? And do you question the direction that the current leadership at the union buildings has taken the country when trying to navigate this long list of issues we're facing?
Indeed, we're hopeful that it resonates with the president, and it resonates with all structures, all levels of government, Marcelle, from the president to the municipalities to the metros. I was here, actually I'm here in Gqeberha, and we said to the leadership here, once we have political instability in the Nelson Mandela Metro, forget if you think you are going to have economic stability. Political instability results to economic instability, which the outcomes of that are job losses, joblessness, high levels of poverty and inequality, crime levels going up. So if we are going to address the challenges that we have put forward, we need stable government. We need a stable government that is able to fulfill its mandate to the people of South Africa, in the municipalities, in the metros, in the provinces, at the national level. So in the absence of that, chaos then takes in. So we are calling for that political stability in different parts of our country, because the reason why you have, for an example, workers and the working class migrating from their countries within the SADC region and coming to South Africa, it is simply because there is no political stability. And therefore, there is no economic growth, there is no economic stability in those countries. If that we see in those countries gets to be reflected in us in South Africa, where are we gonna be going? So South Africa needs to learn from the neighboring countries, from the continent, and say that whatever mistakes that are made, they cannot be repeated or mirrored here in South Africa, except that we must take lessons and say we cannot have government of coalitions that keeps changing mayors in cities and does not talk to the issues that are confronting the ordinary voters on the ground.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Cosatu President Zingiswa Losi, thank you for your time. She joins us virtually there from Gqeberha after the national shutdown, protest action from Cosatu. Still to come here on SA Tonight, a new report